Hey guys, LEGO Brick Fan 615 here, and today, March 29th, 2025, marks 20 years since the release of Traveler's Tales' very first LEGO game. Releasing nearly 2 months before Episode 3 hit theaters, LEGO Star Wars the video game covers the story of the prequel trilogy. 2.5 years later, these levels were compiled along with next year's LEGO Star Wars 2 original trilogy levels into the behemoth Complete Saga, which is what I ended up playing on the Wii the following summer of '08. In terms of home consoles, this initially released on PS2, which you're seeing here, alongside the Xbox port the following week and a GameCube port later in '05. Admittedly, both those versions yield superior image quality compared to the PS2's harsh, jagged edges. But, if you think about it in a way, each frame sort of looks like a mosaic made up of LEGO bricks. Anyway, there's also super obvious dithering that coats the entire image, which you may be able to see if you click the quality all the way up on the video. The campaign took me more or less 2.5 hours while doing a modest to moderate amount of exploring. I will say in terms of pacing, the first couple of levels in Episode 1 go by very quickly, with the length picking up later in that campaign. The vehicle levels, of which there's one in each film, can go quickly, or take a frustratingly long time depending on how many times you die. They actually nerfed the pod race and gunship cavalry levels in the Complete Saga, while also adding support for free play vehicle selection alongside the addition of purchasable vehicles in the item shop. The cool thing about the vehicle levels is that you can get all 10 minikits in story mode, as like I said, there were no other free play vehicles to lock minikits behind. This was similarly changed in the Complete Saga. I was specifically impressed with the Battle over Coruscant level that opens Revenge of the Sith. Even for a LEGO game, it seems to have an epic scale without feeling too annoying. And that's my thing with the LEGO games. Many of their detractors would look at them as baby games, when really, as it became clear the more the series went on, LEGO games are almost their own genre. Even though this is a 3D platformer type game, in archaic fashion you don't get any camera control at all. The right joystick just does nothing. The automatic camera is mostly well designed, but there are specific moments where the perspective makes the platforming quite hard to judge, leading to repeated, unfair failure and frustration. That being said, it's hardly present and relatively excusable in this game as a first entry. My favorite level in this game has to be the conclusive Darth Vader, which is extremely fun to play through while providing a slight challenge. As a kid, I had to get my dad to play through the first part of the level, and of course the end of the level, where it famously turns you against the other player, is immensely satisfying. I was also pleasantly surprised that the 2 story mode instances of the dual force block lifts in Retake Theed Palace were made easier by the CPU, rather than what I remember being quite a hassle playing with my younger brothers. However, something I found to be unpolished is when you force certain objects, if they go out of frame before they finish their path, it'll cut your action off midway and you'll have to try again. This is not only clunky but especially frustrating because of course, the path the forced object takes is completely predetermined by the game, not you. This happens multiple times in this same level, in which there is also an uncommonly large character roster. At first, this feels really cool, but it makes switching to the character you need more difficult because the tag switching goes to whoever you're closest to. A positive is I found the natural auto-target on blaster characters quite satisfying to play as over the Jedi. In fact, I found the ability sets to be pretty balanced, having a good reason to pick either type of character. Well, not including the droids and child Anakin, who can't even melee assailants. In this game, Padme's weapon uses the revolver piece for her blaster as opposed to all the other blaster characters' more classic design. This was changed in the Complete Saga, so hers is the same as everyone else's. Right at the beginning of the game, I noticed Obi-Wan's smile in his profile here, curiously removed from the Complete Saga. They also remove one of Yoda's methods of transportation in this original game, which is when he's walking with his cane, a simple jump will launch him into his hover chair, as seen in Episode 2, which allows you to satisfyingly glide around. This reminds me of a beloved detail I discovered back on the Wii playing the Complete Saga, which of course originated here. If you push the joystick not as far as you typically would when running, there are 2 slower speed sets with unique walk cycles. In terms of what's missing, the second film has 1 less level with 5 levels compared to the first and third film's 6 levels. They re-added the initially deleted Zam Wessel chase as the first level for this film in the Complete Saga, evening it out with all the others. There is no name displayed under the profile upon switching characters in this game, nor when on the pause screen. A particularly iconic aspect of the LEGO games isn't here yet either, the all-encompassing percentage meter. Instead, the select game save displays your current total studs, the currency of these LEGO games, of course. Speaking of which, there are no unlockable stud multiplier extras which, combined with the lack of a completion percentage meter, decentivizes me to grind the game and get enough studs to purchase every last item in the shop and fully 100% the game. That being said, as we've all come to know from this series, this game contains wonderfully humorous, surprisingly effective, and all the more iconic non-verbal cutscenes, paired with extremely fun gameplay that balances seamless single-player and 2-player co-op. This makes these LEGO games valuable in retrospect, given the fading away of couch co-op support in favor of single-player only experiences, in which multiplayer is relegated to online only, which of course on console is gatekept behind a paid subscription. This game in general has aged extremely well, although its content is much more accessible via the HD, except on Wii, Complete Saga. That game was directly and wholly responsible for my falling in love with all things LEGO, which, a few years later, led me to create this channel. Spotty as its activeness may be. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and for right now, this is LEGO Brick Fan 615, signing out.